Because I wasn't actually onto it, so no one can verify that.
Oh, you weren't?
No!
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't watch it to the end. I just figured that you were. Hello, friends! Welcome to User Friendly, the show where two hot mustached men talk about tech, all things geek, and their favorite stuff on the web. My name is Erfon and I'm one of your friendly hosts. I'm also a writer for CultMac and host of the CultCast. This is my friend Roberto.
Thank you for the intro.
You're welcome.
My name is Roberto Hoyos. That's a silent H on the first part of my name.
It's better if you try to roll one of the R's too.
Roberto? It works either way. But I am the co-host of User Friendly, and I also own a company called Throwboy. We make geeky throw pillows. Throwboy.com. Plug.
MikeTees.com too, by the way.
I'm here today talking to you, Erfon. How are you?
So, I've been sick. Really sick. You guys can probably tell from my voice, I don't sound normal. I'm coming down from some NyQuil, hyped up on DayQuil. I started getting sick on Friday. Today is Wednesday, obviously. This is when we record.
It's not good that you're drinking an espresso then, right?
Oh, dude, this is fine. And so Friday I started kind of feeling like one of the Beastie Boys, right? And I was like, ooh, I don't feel right. This is a little ill.
Which Beastie Boy?
Mike D. And then I was like, oh no, I'm fine. I'll be okay. And then I went to this 70s party and had some cocktails. And then by Saturday, I was like, I do not feel right. Something's happening to my body that's not good. And then by Saturday night, I was full on like
Fully torqued.
super. I was not fully torqued. I was fully untorqued.
Yeah.
I had a license to ill. And I felt terrible ever since. And it's like one of those things that affects your voice, because I was coughing so much.
Oh, God.
Do I sound different?
Yeah, you sound stuffed up.
Oh, I do. Okay, so
Yeah.
I sound stuffed up. At least I don't sound like Barry White, which is what I sounded like on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I had the same sort of illness that just lingered, and it was just really irritating because I'd just be talking to friends and whatnot, and then by the end of the night, I'm like, oh, all right, guys, I gotta go to bed. Like,
Hey,
what the hell
guys.
happened to my voice? I wasn't even yelling. It just, like, eroded.
Yeah, it just makes it so that your voice gets tired fast.
Yeah.
And I've been the same way. By nighttime, I really sound terrible.
Well, at least you don't do, like, any, like, pure audio stuff,
Right, yeah, that's the only audio thing I have going on this week, besides the 2-hour CultCast tomorrow. Well, that's alright. I won't sound any more gruff than Leander Caney does.
Just have Siri talk for you.
Yeah, good idea. Hello, Leander. Can I search the web for you?
Simple text on your Mac.
Oh, gosh. So anyway, I'll probably sound like this for another week. But that's why some people have actually asked me, they're like, where have you been? Like, because I haven't been on Twitter or anything, right? And I've just been so deathly ill. I'm like, I do not care about telling anyone about this. Like, I just want to sit here and play video games. This is all I did.
Yeah.
I'm on the mend, though. I'm on the mend now.
It's good.
And we got a great show. So you may have figured out last show was a pre-record.
No one figured that out.
I don't know. You may have figured it out.
No one.
Because
How would they?
well, some people had asked me on Monday or
Such a liar.
Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. That's how my gym teacher used to say Tuesday. They had asked me if we were going to talk about certain topics that were very time sensitive, and I was like, oh, I knew we had already recorded, right? Because Roberto was in California all last week, so we had to pre-record. And besides,
How did we try to trick people?
and we changed our shirts in true Dignation fashion. After episode 35, we changed our shirts and did episode 36.
Did a stretch and
Yeah.
and then went right back into it.
I'm glad you suggested that though, because I actually wasn't even gonna change the shirt. I was shameless. I was like, let's not even try to hide the fact that we're. And then our friend Aaron, I told our friend Aaron that we pre-recorded, and he was like, I'm so happy you changed your shirt, and he was really passionate about it. And I was like, really? And he was like, I hated it on Dignation when they wouldn't change their shirt. He was like, damn it. He's like, can't you at least pretend like it's a different week? And I was like, gosh, that's actually, I would not have cared about that at all watching it.
Well, because it's a weekly thing. And
It is, it's actually true.
It's kind of like on people's schedule already, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to, Erfon suggested we skip an episode, which would have
Yeah,
been,
I was like, let's take a break. But
and my idea was also to maybe Skype over do something like that. But it was much easier just to be like, let's just do it. We already knew we wanted to talk about the movie, so we just kind of bumped that up. But I was telling him, I was like, nobody would have known, dude, because I would have been gone for like basically 5 days instead of 7 days or something like that.
I guess like some of the stuff that like we
Which is
didn't
what I
talk
was
about like was like the iPhone stuff. We didn't talk about your Twit stuff, which would have been totally weird. It's like we're going to talk about that today, in fact. And it's like, why would you go on Twit and then have this experience with Leo Laporte, and then we talk about Elmo that next Wednesday?
I like Elmo more.
I do like Elmo more than anything that you have to say about it.
And I was still okay I was still thinking it would be fine because you didn't get your phone in hand.
Right.
So you didn't have your phone in hand until which you have now.
I do now.
So, but everybody, I hope you liked last week's episode.
Yeah, we actually thought it worked out well because we really wanted to talk about that documentary. And, of course, that's kind of like a timeless thing. So
Yeah.
But in any case, we got a lot more stuff to talk about today.
So
much stuff.
Why don't we start with what you did over your summer vacation?
Right. So, anyone that listens to the CultCast, we had Steve Wozniak on last show. And, yeah, you got him right there. He's looking good, too.
We kind of look like we're related.
Actually, dude, you're wearing glasses and you have the same facial hair.
Yeah.
That's pretty. And the same top hair. You're like the Peruvian Wozniak. So, it actually all worked out last minute. We've been trying to get him on for a while. But Steve is very elusive. He has so much going on.
Yeah.
And he's traveling and he's been in Australia because he wanted to get the iPhone 5 as soon as it came out. So we were contacting him, and he's like, I just got back. This is Wednesday before the show last week. Mm-hmm. I just got back. I can do the show tomorrow. Call me. And we're
like, it's Sunday, Steve.
We're like, okay, great, right? So we're getting really excited, and actually, I was a little bummed that CultCast ended up tweeting about it. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that it wasn't 100% confirmed. Like, this is Woz, right? Like, I've done a show with him before. He's very unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen with him. So I was like, oh man, as soon as I saw the tweet, I was like, oh no. I hope he comes on, because if not, we're going to look like really big idiots.
Oh, because you tweeted about...
Because CultCast tweeted about it.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of let the cat out of the bag. And I wanted it to be a surprise. Like, I wasn't even going to say anything until we released the episode.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
And then I was just going to be like, our guest this week is Steve Wozniak, and everyone would be like, oh, that's so cool, you know.
Yeah.
And it would have been a fun surprise.
Sure, yeah.
So they let the cat out of the bag. I was a little deflated at that point. And then... I was like, he better come on, because if not, we're going to look like major chodes. And so, Thursday, right, 1 p.m., we're getting ready to record the show, and I was like, Leander, call Steve and make sure that he's ready, right? So he calls him. We're supposed to start recording in, like, 10 minutes. Call Steve. He's like, oh, I'm at a restaurant with my wife. I'm like, we're really not going to be done for at least an hour. Can you just call me back later? I'm like, we're ready to record, right?
Yeah.
So, of course.
In true Woz fashion.
In true Woz fashion. So, of course, we're like, what can we say, right? He's at dinner with his wife.
Sure.
So, we're like, okay, yeah, no problem. We'll call you back later. And we were in a small state of panic, right? Because we're like, what if we call him back later? And he's like, he's just finished dinner. He's going to be really tired.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to want to do the show at this point. So we're like, should we just record an episode? Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. I was like, we're going to wait for him. Mm-hmm. So we'll regroup in 90 minutes. We'll call him back. Mm-hmm. And we did. And sure enough, he was ready and waiting, and he was great. I mean,
yeah,
we had a huge, long conversation with him, and it was really fun hearing his opinion on iPhone 5, and it was interesting. We talked a little bit about Steve Jobs. As you guys may know, the anniversary of Steve Jobs' death is actually Friday, October 5th, and he had some things to say about that, which I thought were really cool. You may not have known this, but that was a talker.
Oh, really?
If you listen to the episode, we're like, I almost didn't know what to do, because every time we tried to ask him a question, it was just like, and he would just keep talking.
Were you guys typing to each other?
I started typing probably about 30 minutes into the episode.
Like to try to kind of like cue up something to say.
Well, we knew what we wanted to ask him about, but we just weren't able to get our questions in.
Yeah, you can't really get a word in with love.
He's like the juggernaut, man. He's the verbal I'm the juggernaut. Once he gets going, he crashes through any barrier. There's no stopping him.
But it's like you get this guy on the phone, the basically the creator of the modern day computer, and it's like you just want to hear him like that. You get what you expect. You'll love that show if you like Woz. If you don't know who he is, you might be like, why am I listening to this? Because it's just so long.
Exactly, that's true. Yeah, and Woz he thinks a lot faster than he talks, which is a problem that I definitely have as well. So like sometimes he'll be talking about something, and then all of a sudden he'll switch topics because in his mind he's already arrived at a point that's farther ahead than what he's been saying. So sometimes I had to do some editing to make sure that his thoughts like connected together.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, which if you couldn't tell, that's actually a good thing. Not a lot, but just on certain topics, because like he would jump around a little bit. So I was like, oh, I'll just kind of aggregate these so that you get to hear one solid thought.
That's cool. Well, kudos to you, dude.
It was awesome.
I was really, really happy for you when I was like, whoa, no way.
I know. I was really surprised too, because, like I said, we weren't totally sure. I knew we would get him eventually. I just didn't know when.
Did you point out the fact that you met him?
No, I didn't. Okay. Because I just assumed that he would never remember me.
That.
So I was like, there's no point. Not to mention, getting a question with Woz is really difficult. Like, you'll ask him, and he'll just keep talking. Then you'll ask him again, and that might get him to stop. Mm-hmm. And then you need to ask him one more time, and that's when he actually hears it.
But it's like, I hope we're not coming across as like he's talking over you. Like, he's a super friendly guy.
Oh, he's like the friendliest guy in the world.
And he's
really great guy.
Yeah.
I think his deal is that he gets paid to talk for a living. Like, he travels the world, and people want to just hear what he has to say.
It's funny because he was pointing out the fact that he used to be really shy as a kid. Mm-hmm. And, like, when he started getting into computers, it was when people started to come up to him and ask him questions, and then he could just answer them, you know, freely. And then that got him into, like, kind of developing a personality of being talkative.
Yeah, because now he's like super talkative.
Yeah, and he goes into lines, like he's always in the iPhone lines, you know, no matter where it is. I guess this time it was in Australia.
I think it was actually in New Zealand. I'm not sure where he was. Oh, no, it was in Australia, because some of our CultCast listeners tweeted me the same day, and they're like, Woz is in line.
Where?
Somewhere in Australia. I don't know where.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny that I didn't even know that they were like kind of, the releases were staggered because of time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, now that I think about it, but where did I first heard that on, what's the ones that, the guys that do the teardowns, I Fix It?
Yeah.
They, like, send people to go online to be
the first.
The first ones, yeah. That's cool.
Which is crazy. I mean, that being first matters that much,
yeah.
I think.
Well, I mean, for them it would, right? Because everyone, like, wants to know what's in this new phone, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that we even care about that. It's like, we're like, and here's where the A6 chip is, and here's the Qualcomm modem, and you're like, okay. Here's where the battery is, and you're like, oh, fully torqued.
Well, I know people that like that. They listen to your show.
Yeah, right. That's true. And actually, I like it too. I'm like, oh yeah, look at that lithium polymer battery.
Well, that's cool, man.
Thank you. And I know you have a story from last week, too. We've kind of both had celebrity interactions.
Yeah. Well, so for those that didn't know, because I wasn't really that public about it, I wanted to go on a vacation.
Yep.
Because I was really just super worked from doing the ICEO all through, shipping the ICEO all through August and some of September. So I was like, I really need to get away for a little while and just kind of like regroup and actually take a vacation, which is very rare for me. Like, I'll go like to Austin, but it's for South by Southwest, or I'll go to LA.
It's never just like an open-ended vacation,
but it's
right?
for this. Yeah. So this was like actually, I did a road trip. I got in my car by myself and I drove down to California, and I kind of met up with friends along the way. And it was really nice. It was very relaxing, and I was like, it was very liberating to be able to be like, I'm here now, and no, you know, just like get a motel or something. You know, like you don't have to rely on anyone. You have your car. You can just go wherever you want, wherever you please. Mm-hmm. You can kind of drop in on friends when they're available, but you don't have to rely on like, can I sleep at your house and on your couch?
Yeah, totally.
You know? So it was really, really nice. I liked it a lot. And one of the things that I did when I went down there was met up with my friend John in San Francisco, and we decided to go see the Twit Studios, to watch This Week in Tech, which records on Sunday.
Now, let me ask just real fast. I think I may have asked you this before. Do you need to like book really far in advance to get tickets for that?
I don't know about how far in advance, but you do need to write them and say that you want to get tickets. So I emailed them, and they just basically put you on the list. So that's about 45 minutes north of San Francisco in Petaluma.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize they were so close.
Yeah, it's close. It's like sort of in wine country, but a little bit up beyond that. So it's this kind of little quaint town, and we got up there, and he like basically just walked right in, and then we walked up to the reception guy, which I think they might have interns or something like that. So it was just kind of like a regular looking like teenager, and I was like,
regular looking teenager.
Yeah, and I was like, it wasn't like any like official like receptionist.
As opposed to the non-regular looking teenagers.
But I was like, he's probably not a teenager, but he looked young to me.
He's probably like 30.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, we're here to watch Twit, and he's like, oh, that's not for like another hour, but you guys come look around if you want. And so we're like, okay, like we can go there or there, like can we? And he's like, yeah, you just walk in, and we're like, oh, all right, because it looked like we don't want to interrupt anybody, you know?
Right.
Because everything's just out there. Right?
They're like doing like some podcast, and you
just walk through
past the camera.
It's like Jim Carrey. So anyway, we walked through, and it was just really cool because I watched a lot of the Twitch shows, and we could see everything that was all out there. And Leo was actually recording in his little office studio where he records The Tech Guy, which is his radio show. So he was recording that, and we could like walk through and kind of like look into the glass, you know, where he was doing it. And then like walking around, and throwaway pillows just everywhere.
That's crazy.
It was really cool. Like he had all the Twit pillows that we sent them. They were like hanging, they were like on the seats, they were like all over the place. And I'm of course like kind of looking at like how well loved they were, because you know how Fleece gets when you
right.
So like they were like, oh yeah, we love them though. Like they have them like all over. It was really cool. And then the ICEO was like on one of the desks. It was just really cool to see. Like I really have watched Leo's shows for a long time, and used to watch him on TV. And it's cool to see like something that I did, like the people at the studio love, and they have them there, you know. So it was cool, and we were just walking around, and we came back later for the show, and Twit is just a live show. They talk about technology, and they, after the show, they have sort of a meet and greet, so they kind of will let you take pictures with Leo. And I was wearing my Throwboy shirt because I know that Leo's met me, but probably doesn't know what I look like. Right,
yeah.
So I was waiting in line like everyone else, and then I got up to the front, and actually when I was not even at the front, he's like, "Oh, Throwboy's here," and like started like, he's like, "Oh, cool," like you know, wanted to talk to me when it was my turn. And then when I got up to the thing, sat down, and like they always have people wear these Fez hats that have a Twit logo on them.
Right.
That's kind of like the tradition, and you take a picture. Actually, prior to the Fez hats, it was Leo would hold a Throwboy Twit pillow and take a picture with the people.
Oh wow!
So like that's cool too. I think I might have video of that. But anyway, so we just kind of sat there and like we chatted, and he was like, "Hey, you're here," and like I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm just visiting. This is my friend John."
I saw that, and John's just like, "Hi."
And it's funny because the only reason that is even on video was because that was just a live thing. That's in like the live stream, right? Okay. And that's not like they're recording it for the show. So it wasn't like I was on Twit. It was just like a pre-show or post-show thing, you know? And I sat down and I was like, oh man, I wish somebody was recording this for me, you know, like on the live Ustream. And he's like, hey, can you record that for Throwboy? And like the producer's like, yeah, we got it. And like, so they're recording it while I'm sitting there.
Oh, that's great.
And so, so that's why I have that video, which is on the Throwboy blog, throwboy.com/blog. But anyway, so Leo, after we kind of chatted, you know, like whatever, and I was like telling him why I was there, the chat room was like, hey, he should be on Triangulation. And
yeah, that's crazy.
Leo was like, oh yeah, you should be on Triangulation.
That's crazy that they would even like suggest that. Like,
well, the thing about, so Triangulation is the show that Leo does where he interviews kind of like tech celebrities, right, and like pretty legit people.
Yeah, dude, he interviewed. I was looking through the back cast, and he interviewed Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yeah.
Like, that's kind of weird, right? It's like, why is Steve Martin there?
Because Steve Martin,
I mean, it's awesome.
He has a pretty big Twitter following now. and he actually interacts. He actually did a book recently that was like about.
He's a he's a tech pro
was
now.
Twitter stuff.
Because he's on Twitter.
No.
Is he gonna be an advisor for Square? Should I know about this?
He's gonna be advisor for Throwboy.
Wow, that's so great. Well, he's really into tech, so.
But I mean, dude, if you're Leo and you get Steve Martin,
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
show, you're not gonna be
just...
like, you're not into tech.
No, totally. I was saying more for Steve Martin. Like, why would Steve Martin want to come on the Leo show?
Yeah, but he actually, if you look through the triangulation backlog, he has a lot of like pretty,
just like celebrity people,
pretty like high up people that have done.
That's great.
Some cool stuff. And but anyway, I was like, yeah, I would love to do that, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just like I got the business card from the producer. Talked for like a little bit, sent him an email like that day, and then got booked for the show. So I'm gonna be back in San Francisco in like 8 days or something like that. And
oh yeah, I guess it's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Huh?
So and it's funny because me and John were kind of talking about it. We're like, should I just Skype in because they have people that Skype in, or should I actually go? And he's like, no, dude, just go. You know.
That's what I would do.
It's gonna be a much better interview if you actually are there. You know. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that was just like totally not planned. I wasn't trying to market myself in any way. You know, aside from like wearing the shirt so you knew who I was. Like that was it. You know, I was happy to get a picture and
just be on your way.
Just go on my way. I was on vacation. You know, and so that was really cool. And I'm looking forward to it. They want me to bring some pillows to show, like, I guess tell like what the story is.
Well, that's good. I mean, because Throwboy has like a very definite story, and I think that's part of what sells the product.
Yeah.
So it's like anything that you can do to like kind of like propagate that, and I mean it's the perfect audience too.
Yeah, and anytime anytime Leo mentions Throwboy, which is quite often because he really likes his ICEO, I definitely get some sales from it. So I'm like, does it make sense to go, right? So
yeah, seriously.
So that was cool, and that was my little story. But then I also went to Apple, so I have another story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that you did that, but I didn't know like if you had
like
actually been
there.
Yeah.
So I only stayed in San Francisco like a day or two, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to LA and meet some other friends, right, or meet up with some other friends. But on the way back, I took kind of a different road because I told my GPS I didn't want to take the toll roads. Mm-hmm. So I ended up actually getting right up into Cupertino without even knowing that I was going that way. And then I'm like, oh, I should stop at Apple. You know, I used to work at Apple, and I've been to the campus a couple times, but I was just like, oh, I haven't been there in forever, and I have the ICEO. Like, wouldn't it be cool to get a photo of the ICEO there, right? So I go there, and it's like 5 o'clock. So like everybody's getting out. There's just like tons of people flooding out of the campus, and shuttle buses, like double-decker shuttle buses, are like leaving the campus. So there's people everywhere. And I sort of felt like kind of a douche. Like I was like, I don't want to be like, ask an Apple employee, can you take a picture of me with this doll in front of their sign? Like a total like fanboy to the max, you know? And I'm like, I was like looking around. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll like go into the company store. Like I was just kind of meandering around, and then finally I basically like sat down on a bench for like 10 or 15 minutes, just kind of like working up the courage to like, who do I even ask to do this? But then as I looked around, I noticed that there were visitors. There were definite like taking pictures of the signs, taking pictures of like the flags, the Apple flags and everything. So I was like, okay, I can probably just, be like, hey, dude, can you take a picture of me? I'll take a picture of you in front of the sign.
Right.
So I did that. Finally, I went up to some guy, and I'm like, oh, you're visiting too? Like, kind of like, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, I don't have anyone to take a picture. Would you mind? And he's like, oh, no, take a picture of me. I'm like, sure. And so we did, and then I got a picture of the ICEO, and I took it out, and they were all kind of like laughing. They thought it was cool. Yeah. And they wanted to take pictures of it too. And so a couple of them got their cameras out and they were taking pictures of it. And before I left, I was like, hey, if you're going to post that, would you mind, like, say if it's Instagram, could you hashtag ICEO, because that's what it's called. And he's like, yeah, sure. And it was just kind of like quick. And then I left after that. And then later on Instagram, I wanted to check and see, did they post it? And sure enough, they did. And one of the notifications I got was from you saying to this guy, actually, that's because I think he was like, Steve Jobs spotted in Cupertino, and then you're...
So that's... I know where this is going, yeah.
And then you're like, actually, that's an ICEO by Throwboy. and I look at who posted it, and it's Alex Heath, Erfon's co-host
CultCast.
on the CultCast.
Yeah.
One of like the
So
main
you randomly
hosts.
stopped this guy. By the way, he was only there for the jailbreak convention.
Yeah.
Like, he lives in Kentucky.
Yeah, he doesn't live there.
He doesn't live there at all. So he was just there, and that's funny because early in the day, we had just finished the CultCast, and he's like, yeah, I'm heading over to. I think we're gonna head over to Apple tomorrow. I thought you had seen him at a party or something.
No,
you just saw him outside of Apple.
Outside of Apple, and I could have easily not walked up to that guy because like I said, I was sitting there for a while, trying to decide what I do. You know,
totally random and bizarre.
And it's Alex Heath, who I've listened to every CultCast. I know exactly who that is. I just didn't know what he looked like. You know,
right.
And so I thought he was just some guy. And then
so bizarre.
Yeah, so I was like, that's crazy. Like, I typed back to him, like, that's crazy. Like, Erfon and I host the show user friendly, and like, we're friends. And he's like, that's so random. I'm like, yeah, I know.
So, just to clarify, so we've got Alex who lives in Kentucky. You live in Seattle. Both travel to Cupertino at the same time, and you happen to approach him to take your picture because you saw some random guy standing there.
Didn't know who it was, no.
That's like when I was I think I was in Germany, and I had missed a train, and they booked us on another train, and they're like, where do you want to sit? And I'm like, here works. And we go in and we sit down, and the guy who sits right across from me was in my high school class.
Weird.
And I was like, whoa, dude, too weird. Like,
yeah.
He's like, oh my gosh, you're on this train? I was like, I missed my last train.
That's really weird, yeah. It's more weird than just like, oh, I know a guy on a plane, you know? Because like sometimes that happens.
Well, if you're in the U.S., it's like,
exactly.
But when you're in Munich,
exactly.
It's like, that's totally bizarre.
Super bizarre, yeah.
You know, when you miss a train, it's just like that. It's just so weird.
We have some odd, like, 6 degrees of separation through us, too. Like, you went to school with my cousin.
Right.
And not just high school, but, like, junior high.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys never met.
Not only did we not meet, he had no idea who I was.
And vice versa.
And vice versa, which I thought was really weird because I was on the video announcements every morning.
Video
announcements every morning for 3 years, and he didn't know who I was. I'm like, how oblivious were you to those? I mean, the announcements were terrible, yes. But you think you would have caught them at least
just
once.
Like, head down in his desk.
Yeah. And my name is Erfon.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like my name is Ted or Chuck. It's like, there's only one of me in any school. And for you to not have even heard of my name is just so weird to me.
But anyway, those are little away stories, right? Like, we just wanted to recap what we did on our summer vacations. So why don't we get into a different topic?
All right, let's do it.
Do you want to go with this or this?
Well, let's talk about the emojis for a moment.
Okay.
So, what?
One thing, I didn't bring my camera, so you're going to have to do the old-fashioned way for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, preface what we're going to say.
So, we both discovered individually and then realized together.
Oh, you're going to do it on that?
Well, yeah, it's going to be easier on this. Plus, then I get to show my new iPhone 5 screen.
Okay.
So, we realized that with iOS 6 and also with Mountain Lion, you got a bunch of new emojis to play with. A lot of new emojis, which, if you don't know what emojis are, I'm going to show you right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring it up here. Yeah. Well, these were kind of like, they've been around, but they kind of got into the popular culture about maybe I'd say like a year or two ago because people discovered that you could basically go into your iPhone's keyboard settings and there was like, I think it was like a 2-step process to unlock them. At one point, you had to actually download an app that would trick your phone to thinking it was like a Japanese phone. Because in Japan, they're widely used. They're used just like, you send a soccer ball, and that means that you want to go play soccer. Like, they use them as almost like text.
Right. So, here we go. These are emojis. These little symbols that you can use.
Basically like an emoticon, but they're emoticons. They have a ton of different kinds.
So yeah, they added a bunch of new ones.
Yeah.
And a bunch of cool ones there are these little vampire kitties that you can use. They added some devils and some angels and just a whole ton of them. And you can use these on your phone, but a lot of people don't know that you can actually use these on your computer too. Like anyone with an Apple device will see these when you use them.
Yeah.
And actually, I normally do them on my computer rather than on my phone because I like typing on my computer better.
Why don't you bring up your camera and we can show them? So.
Oh, you want to use the camera here?
Video.
Gotcha.
Sorry. So yeah, I don't remember how I stumbled onto this, but I saw an article that was like, this is how you basically unlock them, not unlock them, but like how you show them on your computer, on your Mac. And for those that have never done this before, here's the process. So you go you go to your system preferences.
Right.
You go to keyboard. Then you go to input sources.
Yep.
You see that?
Yeah, now it's in focus.
And then you have to check this box up here that says keyboard character viewer.
Mm-hmm.
And after you do that, you'll get a little thing in your menu bar. You click on that, and then it will pop up this.
And you can use this in any application that takes text, right?
Right, so you can send an iMessage to somebody with emojis. And it's just kind of cool to see, like, oh, what do they call these things? Oh, confused face. Like, it's
there's so many good ones. I really love these ones with the eyes open.
Which
like click on that one.
Oh yeah, they added those.
Like they added a bunch of new ones where your eyes are open, and they didn't have those before.
Yeah, for a while it was so much less than these.
Yeah, there really were a ton less.
I always like this one because it's basically just me.
That's true.
I was telling.
He's got like a serious like bat mustache. Look at that. It looks like a bat wing.
From small, it looks more like me, but I was telling my friend that if she can make glasses on it, and then I'd put it as my default, like Facebook profile. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch, and then you were saying that you like to trigger them.
Yeah, so close that.
Okay.
If you don't want to activate them and have them living up here in your little top bar there.
Yeah.
All you gotta do to bring it up.
Do I have to have like a text program open?
I think you might. Yeah.
What was it? Evernote.
Try Evernote. Sure. So we could try an Evernote. Evernote may have hijacked this shortcut, but all you need to do is hit Option Command.
Here, let me make a new note.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, that might work. So if you hit Option Command T.
Option Command T.
See, Evernote has hijacked that.
Oh.
So it may not work in Evernote, but try Text Edit.
Take your camera off it, because I have like 100 million things that I haven't never saved that just live in Text Edit.
Boom, boom, boom,
Watch,
boom,
it's
boom,
gonna
boom.
be like. Grrr.
No, dude, there's nothing there.
It probably will. Oh, okay. Never mind. No, yeah. Let's see. I was messing with them before.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, Option Command T.
Option Command T.
There you go.
Oh, it just pops up.
Brings up the whole window.
So when you're sending texts, are you just dragging them? Or are you like,
I just double click them.
Car.
I just double click it.
Oh, okay.
So if you just double click it, it just automatically gets put in there.
Oh, neat. Okay, cool. But yeah, you should check it out on your phone. I don't remember. How do you open it up? Because it's not default. And then how do you actually trigger it for those that have never done it before?
For your phone, it's even easier. You just
you go to settings.
No, I don't even think you need to do that. It's just automatically included. So you just press the little globe icon.
You don't have that globe icon until
by default?
You don't. No.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, so you go into settings.
Here, let me. Can you record this?
Yeah.
This is just for the very few of you. Actually, my sister didn't know what it was for a really long time.
A lot of people don't. Yeah.
She didn't know what it was like up until like 2 weeks ago. Okay, so on the phone, you go to settings.
Mm-hmm.
General, right?
Mm-hmm. And keyboards. Although they moved a bunch of stuff around.
Keyboards.
Yeah.
And then you go to keyboards, which I have 3 because I do Spanish, English, and emoji. But you would add a keyboard.
And then you add emoji.
Emojis in there. And
gotcha.
Now when you go to like any text place, hold on, let me see here. Let's say I'm doing a new text. Okay. So now if you're doing, if you're in text, now you have this little globe.
Right.
You can either hold that or press it, and you can just go right to emoji.
Gotcha.
So they're kind of
I
fun.
wonder how many people don't know about this, because I have been using these for a long time. They're so great.
I remember having my iPhone 3G, and having to. And I remember when people would tweet about like, oh, download this app and it will give you emojis, because it was like sort of a hidden thing. Like here in the States, especially, like they're just kind of funny to us. But I think over in Japan, they actually use them for like practical talk.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
that's why they have
true.
that's why they have a ton of them, and it's cool to see the new ones because for a really long time they didn't have a pizza one, and everyone's just like, that seems like a simple one that you would have.
Yeah.
You have burgers and fries, like you don't have pizza. Come on.
I was really pissed about the pizza. I'm mad
I-
about that for years.
I am just getting over it. But anyway, now they have like pizza and chicken legs and all this kind of crazy stuff, and lots of different alcoholic drinks, which is
Oh, wow.
So
Wow, yeah, they have added a lot of them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
a ton of them, yeah. But yeah, we just wanted to mention that because some people never knew about that.
Yeah, and they're fun.
Yeah.
So check them out.
Now we
We
have
have one last thing, right?
one other thing, I think. Oh yeah, I need to do camera again for this. That'll be fun. But
Dude, using my camera
edit
is
this,
so much today.
edit this in. Actually, let me see if I can. I'm gonna look up their website. Okay, so this is really cool. My friend told me about this, and it just got put out there. It's basically kind of like a Kickstarter because they're raising funds to make this a real product. And wow, it raised those funds.
Wow.
It was like 2 days ago that it got posted, or maybe a day ago. They're very well over that. So this is really cool. This is called Lockatron. And I think for a little while this has been out there where it's like a remote control lock, but you have to get a whole new lock system, you know, to make it actually work for you and stuff. This is a new take on that, so we can watch the video and this will explain it better.
This is Lockatron. It fits over your current deadbolt and lets you lock or unlock your door from your phone. Lockatron unlocks your door for you. You can share access to your door with anyone, anywhere, instantly. You can control Lockatron from anywhere in the world. Last year, we released the world's first commercially available internet-connected door lock that worked with any phone. News outlets like the New York Times, Popular Science, and Reader's Digest raved about Lockatron. Since then, we've been hard at work to make a newer, smarter version of Lockatron. The new Lockatron isn't a door lock. It installs on the inside of the door, so renters can use it too. You can now Airbnb your place when you're out of town. Lockatron lets your guests in for you. You can easily extend their stay and make sure the door is locked on their way out. Lockatron will send you a message when someone unlocks the door, even if they use a key. If you run, you don't need to take a key with you. Lockatron works with any phone on the market. It will even work with text messages. Lockatron is the perfect solution for co-working spaces. No more keys to manage, simply grant or revoke access at a moment's notice. Lockatron will even send you a notification when someone is at the door, thanks to a built-in knock sensor. Installation is incredibly simple. Loosen your deadbolt using the included Phillips head screwdriver. Slide the back plate between your door and the lock. Tighten, and secure Lockatron to your door by twisting the knob. Lockatron comes in several colors and finishes, including Obsidian Black, Bondi Blue, and Quicksilver.
Lockatron uses the same cryptographic protocols found in online banks. Unlike with regular keys, if you misplace your phone, you can remotely disable your account by changing the password.
That's cool.
Lockatron runs on 4 AA batteries that last for 1 year and will send a message to you when they run low. Lockatron has built-in Wi-Fi and an Arduino-compatible Atmega microcontroller. This means that you can customize Lockatron in some pretty cool ways.
Wow.
And there's one more thing we're incredibly
Extreme.
excited to show you. Lockatron lets you unlock the door simply by walking up to it.
Wow, that is cool.
Thanks to Bluetooth 4, Lockatron finally brings keyless entry to your home.
I like that his garage door is right in front
We've
of it.
invested a lot of time and energy into making what we think is a pretty radical product.
We'd like to make at least 1,000 Lockatrons for the first production run. Help us bring Lockatron to your door. Reserve one today.
That's so creepy there. Lockatron. Ah, yeah.
So yeah,
Dude, that's awesome.
Is that cool?
I mean, I don't think I could use it for my door, but my door's pretty old.
Yeah, but maybe. I mean, maybe you just might. I don't know. You might need to get another lock, but.
Yeah, our door's from like
But
the 50s.
that style of lock, that deadbolt, that's everywhere. That's on mine. That's like in my apartment.
Yeah.
I thought it was really really cool that it wasn't like a whole proprietary solution. You know what I mean? Like it's like we want it to be something that everyone can just put over their door. You know?
I think that was really smart because who's gonna buy? Like you see these things from like Comcast all the time, and they provide internet and stuff. They're like, we'll install all this stuff, and then you can use our proprietary software to unlock your door and monitor your security cameras. I'm like, who pays? I was actually just thinking this yesterday. I'm like, who pays all that money for that?
Yeah.
Like who actually does that?
Suckers.
I just want to be able to auto lock and unlock my door.
Yeah, and it's like he was saying, it's great for Airbnb. You know, if you have a place and you just want to like have them have a regular key, but also see when it's unlocked.
These guys are going to be millionaires. I mean, this is a fantastic idea, and it's a wonderful execution of it. I mean, the fact that you can unlock your door in so many different ways and have it work so seamlessly. And it's cool with your existing smartphone.
I think they did a great video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they showed it being used, and they kind of like ramped it to like other ways that it could be used, and the fact that it's not just a smartphone only thing. Like you can use it on a totally dumb text message phone. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing very well with their backers. 5,276
I wonder how
backers.
I wonder if this is like a white label solution of like Kickstarter.
Like, it is. I think that actually Kickstarter had some recent changes that were prohibiting certain types of hardware. So they were kind of trying to push away the whole like basically like the Instagram camera, you know, like we made an artist rendering, and we want to do a thing. They said no more renderings or anything, so we might not have very many things to make fun of anymore.
That's too bad.
So this is great. I mean, this is actually not too different from what I did when I took pre-orders. So I think it's cool when you can. I feel like Kickstarter is good. It's a good platform, but I feel like sometimes with the right amount of, influential people talking about your thing, you don't necessarily need it because you can just put up a nice website and start taking money through there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only problem is like sometimes like whoever's taking the payments might have problems with it when it actually gets charged. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I mean, they just said they're not charging until it
actually
actually is ready to ship. Which I don't think it's legal to charge someone and then not ship it.
Yeah.
I mean, even on Kickstarter, I don't think you can do that.
You have like a certain amount of days, I think, for it to be for the leeway. But anyway, this is really cool. I would probably want one.
I would if I had a normal door, I would absolutely buy one of these.
Yeah.
It's $150, at least starting. That's how much it is. If it was more than 150, I don't think I would buy one. That's a little much to me.
I really like the little hints at the nerdy things inside this video. Like his phone was 314, which is pi.
Oh really?
And then like, that's what the time was. And then the fact that the Locatron comes in Bondi Blue and Quicksilver, those are both two Apple product names for their colors. For like one was the first iMac and one was the like one of the G4 towers. So I like those little things. I think that's cool. I mean, if you wanted to check out Locatron, it's just Locatron, LOCKITRON.com.
What a good idea.
You can place a pre-order for it, and there's 29 days left, but I'm almost confident that they launched yesterday. So it's already 527.6% funded.
It launched yesterday already?
Yeah. They wanted 150,000 and they have almost 800,000.
I really wonder what's powering this website. Because they have backers. I mean, it's exactly like Indiegogo or any of those other websites that let you do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good question.
The website design is really good.
Yeah,
Did
it's
Dave do
great.
this?
I think so, yeah.
It looks really nice.
So anyway.
Cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Locatron. I like it. I like it a lot.
I think that might be it unless you want to talk about...
Well, yeah, we should probably at least bring this up. So Steve Jobs' death is Friday. the anniversary of it is anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And did you want to say a few things about that before we go?
Yeah, I think I wanted to just wanted to like say like where were you? Do you remember what happened? Like when you found out? Because we both obviously were, we're fans,
Yeah.
so we don't have to like recap that. But like,
Yeah, I do. I was here at my house, and I remember when I saw it. When I saw the news come through, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked.
where
it
did
was
you see it first? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly where. It was some internet website.
Oh, it was online. Okay.
Yeah, it was online somewhere, and I remember seeing it, and I was like, what? So I started looking around, and
Yeah,
sure
to see if
enough,
it actually was
to see if
real.
it was actually being carried by any other sites, and sure enough, it was. And it's funny. I think the biggest thing that surprised me was that he died. I mean, I just wasn't expecting him to be that sick. I know. And then some people that I talked to were like, "You didn't expect this? Like, he looked really sick." And I'm like, I thought those were rumors. Like, I didn't think any of that was real.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed to me that he was doing better. And it was totally strange to me that he was working at Apple and doing all these things right up into his death, knowing that he was dying. Because if it were me, I would have approached my life much differently. I wouldn't have been working on the next iPhone. I wouldn't have cared about the next iPad. You're dying. It's like,
Right.
you wanna spend as much time with your family and friends as you can. But I think that goes to show what Steve Jobs was really passionate about. What about you?
Well, I remember I was getting pizza at Little Caesars, and I was with Skylar, and we just got it or something, and I got back to my car, and I received a call from my brother. And my brother doesn't normally call me that much, like sometimes there'll be like, oh, we want to like meet up or something. He calls me, and he's like, Steve Jobs just died, and I was just like, and I was not in not in like a serious mood at that time because I'm like, oh, just kind of like getting pizza, whatever.
Hey man,
and I'm
cool.
just like, really? I was like, that's wow, that's crazy. Kind of like, maybe I'll talk about this with you later, but I was just like, oh, geez, that's crazy. And then like, I told her, and then it started to sink in, and I was like, I think she was like, oh, are you like bummed out? Like, are you sad or like whatever? And I was like, this is a really big deal. Like, this is a really big deal. Like, it turned from me kind of being like sort of jovial to like, no, you're not gonna joke about this with me. This is a big deal to me.
Yeah, right.
And so then it started to sink in, and then when we're at my place and stuff, and it was just like, every once in a while I kind of thought about it. I was like, what the hell? That's crazy. Like, I didn't think he had just done a leave of absence, remember?
Right.
And he just handed off his CEO duties to Tim Cook, and we talked about that on a different podcast, and that was more like, we were really shocked about that. We were just like really like, whoa, what's gonna happen, And then basically that was like the whole thing. But one really weird thing that happened was I was wearing, it was like, I don't know, when was that, October or something? Or yeah, it was October. And I was wearing a sweater because it was actually not super sunny back then. It was actually cold that year. And I was wearing a sweater, and then later on that night I took off my sweater, and I was wearing a blue American Apparel t-shirt, and it had a tiny little apple on the shoulder. And that was one of my old Apple shirts, which I rarely wear. So it was just really odd that I like take off my sweater and I have an Apple t-shirt like on my body. And I was like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, that hit home. And I remember like we had a con like 2 weeks later, and we were both still in this weird state of like, whoa, like,
yeah, I was deeply affected by it.
Yeah.
For sure. I definitely felt a personal loss from it. I know it might sound strange, but I definitely did, and I was in shock, I think, for a little while, because it was so unexpected to me.
And then remember when it showed it on the Apple page?
Yeah,
that was
a screenshot of it,
crazy,
and I saved it.
Dude, yeah. That was the most crazy thing to me. I was just like, whoa, it's not like a TMZ thing. It's like the real thing,
Yeah, and Apple didn't say anything. They just put that up. And and I was like, how appropriate the way they handled it was so appropriate too. I think for me, I was just so surprised it was so secret. Like he was dying, you know, like and he knew he was dying, and he handed it off to Tim Cook right before he died, and they had this plan in place the whole time, and I kept expecting Steve to address it more, and I don't know why I thought that, because I mean he handled it the way he handled every other part of Apple. It was very secretive, very close to the vest. And when it was time to divulge the information, it was divulged. And it's like, just like any Apple release, it's like you knew nothing about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, I'm sick, I'm dying, I'm dead. You know, it's like, whoa. You know, geez, like we weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
Because I honestly thought he was going to be around for a lot longer.
I think it's great when you watch old keynotes, especially during the end there. People are very happy that he's there. You know, like he gets like these long standing ovations. Right. Like in 2011, I think, you know.
Yeah, I remember that after everyone had found out he had the liver transplant. Yeah. And then he took a leave of absence and then he came back.
Yeah, it's really cool to see those old clips. And I've been like, obviously, like really, he's been a big part of my life, but so is Apple and everything like that. So yeah. But yeah, I thought it would be interesting to kind of recap, like, where were you? Because that's going to be like our where were you, I think, you know, one of them. I mean, like, there's bigger events as well, but, you know. Yeah. But in tech, maybe, you know, because I feel like I bring it up sometimes with tech people, and
I feel like it transcends the tech genre. Like it was all over the news, and people who are not into tech at all were really affected about it. I mean, it was world news. Yeah, that's true. For days and days and days. I mean, and there are a lot of people who don't care about technology who looked at him. I mean, people who were Pixar fans, right? Sure, it's like, I mean, who maybe weren't even Apple fans knew who Steve Jobs was.
It's probably like a John Lennon type thing. People that weren't Beatles fans still knew who John Lennon was. Yeah, and then he died. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though that was a tragedy, but you know.
Yeah, totally. Maybe it was as big of a tragedy in that generation.
Well, I mean, tragedy in the fact that he got murdered.
Oh, yeah. You know? I see. Yeah, because I still feel like it was really tragic. It's like, you have this guy who, I really feel was kind of like at the apex of his creative and like, you know, business abilities. Yeah. And that's when he dies. Right. It's like he went out like Kurt Cobain. Yeah. You know?
He wanted to keep that mark. Like he will always be, you know, like.
Yeah, he died at his peak.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say, thinking he was in his 50s.
Yeah, dude, just nuts.
But anyway, October 5th, the anniversary of Steve Jobs' death. We'll probably talk a bit more about it on the CultCast too, considering it's the day before.
True.
But that's it for now.
That is it, my friend. So where can the fine friends see you on the internet?
You want to follow me on Twitter. When I'm not sick, I'm there and I'm tweeting. At Erfon. If you're interested in my clothing brand, Mike Tees, you can go to MikeTees.com. Also at Mike Tees on Twitter. What about you?
My personal Twitter is No, it's not. My personal Twitter. See, I tried to preface it, but I did it wrong. Yeah. Is at Roberto Hoyos, Roberto Hoyos, and my Throwboys Twitter, my company is just at Throwboy, and throwboy.com for all your geeky throw pillows that you know you want. Mm-hmm. And I think that's about it, but you can go to userfriendlyshow.com for all our past episodes and future. You can also like us on Facebook, where we do interact with everybody on there. Which is just facebook.com/userfriendlyshow.
Oh, and you can subscribe to the show, too, on iTunes. Did you say that already?
No.
Okay, good. Just search for User Friendly Show on iTunes.
And YouTube.
And we're on YouTube.
I think you need to reply to some YouTube comments.
Really? I need to be better about that, because they don't show up in my personal reminders things.
We have a lot.
Okay, good. I need to hop on there.
Irfan's the talkative one.
You're the guy that nods.
I'm the handsome one.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next week for another non-pre-recorded episode.
See ya.